All righty. We'll go ahead and start, Miss Debbie.
Hi, how are you today, Miss Revonda?
Good. It's so good to see you. Got your festive red on. I hope you're ready for Christmas and you and your family have a lovely one.
Yes, to you too. Yeah, you know, this is the power red and the season of red. So I thought during this Christmas week, I would just go on and put it out there. Anyway, welcome back, Revonda. It's good to see you again. We were here a couple of weeks ago to kick off our wellness program, Wellness Extraordinaire. And for those of you who have not been able to join us in the past, we are a group of ladies who have decided to get together and a couple of times a month share with you everything wellness from very many different perspectives. So today, because we are in the holiday spirit and season, we thought we would spend a little bit of time just in case you were feeling some holiday blues, some ways that you can fend off those blues so that you can enjoy the season. And we have about 6 or 7 tips that we would like to share with you. So I am going to kick it off and let you know that one of the things that I thought was really fun in a way is to get together with your family or some close friends and create a healthy happy hour. And it doesn't have to involve alcohol. It can enjoy some of your fun drinks. It can enjoy you being by yourself and just spending some quiet time together and meditating or reading, but making sure to find time to move away from the hustle and bustle of the season and take time for yourself. Another thing that I love to do is what is called grounding or earthing. And you may be familiar with that, Revonda, where you actually go outside.
Yes, I love that.
Now, this time of year for me, because I'm in cold Michigan, it's kind of hard to go outside and be barefoot, but you can ground. I will put stocking feet on. And there is some grounding that takes place by just being outside and stepping into nature. And so if you can get your feet on the ground to reduce some stress, then that would be a great thing too. One of the other things that is really important is sleep. And you want to make sure that while you are running around trying to get everything done, that you don't forget the importance of sleep. When we are feeling stressed and when we are feeling a little out of whack, if we don't give our bodies sleep at night, it just becomes exacerbated every single day. So make sure that you give your body time to get down. One of the other things, and feel free to jump in with this one, Revonda, is give gratitude a go.
Yes. Yes.
How important it is. Do you keep a gratitude journal or have any gratitude practices that you participate in?
I have in the past, and first thing in the morning is a great way to start your day and get your mindset on gratitude. And honestly, whenever you do that, you're going to have doors and windows open. Just, I challenge everyone to try it. Definitely.
I could not agree with you more. And I love that you say you start your day with gratitude. And what I would add to that is also a wonderful way to end your day.
Yes, for sure. Let that be your last thoughts as you're laying down to sleep, right?
I agree. And I find myself being grateful for sometimes what might seem like silly things. If I'm going someplace and that light in front of me is red and I'm like, okay, I need that light to be turning green right about now. And I do. I feel some gratitude that that happened. Another way that we can help to lift the blues. Who doesn't like hot chocolate? Who does not like hot chocolate? Now, I will share with our listening audience that I am a whole food plant-based advocate. And so my hot chocolate would be made with plant milk. But The other thing that I love doing is steeping the chocolate in the milk with a little bit of reishi mushroom. And you can buy dried reishi mushrooms. You can get powdered reishi mushrooms. They're easily accessible. And these mushrooms are in the adaptogen family. And so when we consume them, they kind of figure out what's going on in your body, and they go to that. So if you're feeling stress, you're feeling a little anxiety, you've got a little pinch here or a little poke there, having some reishi mushrooms made wonderfully in a cup of hot chocolate or even tea is a wonderful way to take a moment and help reduce any stress or anxiety that you're feeling during this time. Do you have a favorite?
That is sounding very delicious. I'm going to have to talk to you more and get that and try that. It's funny you said last night I had a hot chocolate, and it was a little gift the neighbor gave me, and it's got these like little chocolate snowmen. And I mean, they're, it's not healthy. It was just milk chocolate, but you just then warm up your milk. And I had regular milk. I went ahead and done it, but you know what? It was really good. It was better than the powder, chemical.
Wait, so you put the little chocolates inside the warm milk and then it melts?
It was Russell Stover, just the little chocolate. And they says, watch your Santas melt. And then you put it in the warm milk. And it was actually good because it was a little better than the powdered, that has the most.
Well, and how fun of a way to watch your Santa melt and watch your stress melt away with it, and then enjoy that wonderful chocolate milk. Good.
And it's okay. Good. We don't have to be perfect all the time,
No, and as a matter of fact, the clients that I work with, we talk about that. We talk about giving ourselves permission to, I even hate to say fall off the wagon. Yeah. We give ourselves permission to do something different.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? It just follow up with a cleanse or follow up with a detox. It's moderation.
Exactly.
Goes a long ways.
Well, and the other thing too is that if we don't give ourselves permission to do something different, then we also will struggle with giving ourselves permission to stay on whatever lifestyle we have chosen, for that period of time. Because I'm not into shame and blame and judge.
Because then you're going to feel like, you're missing something, or you're going to start to feel down or something, and you're going to, and it's just like a diet. If you fall off of a diet, it's okay. Get back on it. It's okay. Give yourself some grace.
I love that. Give yourself some grace. And I would say that when we give ourselves grace, when we are feeling those stressful times, it's a whole lot easier to feel less stress, because now we don't have that additional anxiety of being so hard on ourselves and judgmental on ourselves. Okay, so tip number 5 is up your vitamin C. Yes. Vitamin C during the winter time, the citrus fruit in the winter, some of the winter favorites would be grapefruit is still available. And now, fortunately, we live in a flat world. And so we have the ability to get citrus fruits all year long. I always advocate for getting your vitamin C naturally. So getting it from fruits and getting it from other vegetables. But if you can't and you supplement with it, then that would be okay too. But one of the things that we know is that when we are increasing our vitamin C, it does help to reduce the amount of stress that we might feel. Hey, Miss Sullivan, how are you? Good to see you. So happy you could join us.
I think you're muted. You look lovely. You got your red on too. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you too. How have you been?
Very well, very well. We were just sitting up here talking about giving our audience some tips on how to fight those holiday blues that they might be feeling. It's really difficult times that we're living in. And, holidays tend to be stressful anyway. Christmas tends to be, at least in our family, was probably the most stressful. And I think this whole idea of trying to be, running around and preparing foods and dinner and gifts. And then the added stress of a pandemic, living through that. the added stress of to travel or not to travel. So these are just, these are some challenging times we're living in. And so we were talking about some tips that with our audience that might provide them some opportunity to de-stress. And so we were just talking about how one of the ways is to up your vitamin C amounts, increase the amount of vitamin C. So if you're not a fan of grapefruit or oranges or citruses, then definitely I would strongly encourage you to take vitamins or eat peppers. And hello, Bibi.
Bibi,
how are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you, ladies.
Thanks for joining
Good
us.
to see you too. So our last tip tip number 6, I won't say the last. Tip number 6 is to get more oxygen. So one of the things that happens is when we are feeling stress and anxiety, we tend to become what I call chest breathers. And so instead of taking deep breaths, we tend to breathe up here. And so if you find yourself feeling kind of bluesy, you're not sleeping well, you're feeling anxiety, you're feeling rushed, take a moment, get some of that reishi cocoa we talked about, and sit down to practice deep breathing. And you'll find that if you take anywhere from 3 to 5 really deep breaths, and when you take them in through your nose and actually feel the breath go all the way down past your chest into your stomach, hold it for a few minutes and then let it go. And that allows for more oxygen to come into your body. And you would be surprised at how 3 to 5 deep breaths can really calm the nervous system and calm the system down. Because we do have so much exposure right now to COVID-19, I'm constantly reminding people to take deep breaths, because the other good thing about getting more oxygen into the body is that as we are expanding the lungs, we are strengthening the lungs in those muscles. And our pulmonary toilet, that's what we call our lungs, that's the pulmonary toilet. It is one of the areas that tends to be attacked first by viruses and bacteria and pathogens. So that deep breathing is really, really important. So one of the things that is also important around deep breathing is that when we are anxious, our cortisol levels tend to increase, and deep breathing helps to bring those cortisol levels back. It's also good for weight management because we don't want to lay down or have a lot of excess cortisol in our body, because it's laid down as excess fat on the body too. So that's a secondary thing that's good for it. So
can I ask a question on that?
Sure.
So how does cortisol get in our bodies? Like what makes it, or what, is there something we do, or is it just a natural process of cell,
That's a good
process?
question. I think the cortisol comes comes about through some of the foods that we eat. It's a natural thing in foods. And then I cannot remember off the top of my head why the body produces it or how it uses it. So you know what, I'm going to write that down and we're going to come back and talk about that. But I do know that a lot of excess cortisol in the body does create an inability to lose weight when you're trying to lose weight. And I think the body treats it as a, I don't know what to do with it. And when the body doesn't know what to do with something that we've eaten, it will typically lay it down either as excess weight, or it will attack weaker parts of the body. So if you have arthritis, you might feel it in your knees. If you have diabetes, you might have your A1C be impacted, heart disease, and all those, horrible nasties that we tend to be attacked with. So those are some tips, but Revonda, you and I were talking earlier and you came up with a really good tip. You want to share that with the group?
Yes. Well, it's good to see everyone here. Thank you for joining us. And I'm honored to be back with you, extraordinary ladies. And I just wish you all a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And those of you that don't know, we're going to be doing this, the second and fourth? Is it the second and fourth Thursday of each month? And there's several of us ladies. There's 3 from Illinois and Dr. Moffat from Michigan and myself from North Carolina. So, but yeah, today's topic is on the holiday blues, or do you have the blues? Well, self-recognition is very important, like you were saying. And those of you that didn't listen in, go back and listen to the recording and hear all of the amazing tips that Dr. Debbie gave us. They were and some of them were fun. So you want to go back and hear that. So definitely take time out for yourselves. And, maybe you lost a loved one, or maybe you're sick, or you're having financial issues, or, maybe you still have some last minute shopping to do. So these are things that, can cause that. But what I wanted to focus in on is dehydration and how that can affect, our mental clarity. So, and another key to this is recognizing that you're feeling down, and we can change our thoughts. And I think that's the very first step, is recognizing, hey, I'm feeling blue. What can I do? What can I change? I need to call a friend and can put on some music. But by just doing that, that's the start of change. And by doing that is taking responsibility of your health. And a lot of people don't even realize they can take responsibility of their own health, but yes, you can. And that's what we want to help you learn, from this group. And we want to give you little tips and little things, just small steps that you can start implementing, can go a long ways. So what are some of the signs of dehydration? You may be experiencing thirst, or a dry, sticky mouth, not urinating very much, or you will notice your urine could be dark. That's a sign. Your skin could get dry and feel cool. Number 1 is a headache. A lot of people don't realize they can just go and drink 2 or 3 glasses of water and that headache could go away. A brain fog, no mental clarity, and it can even cause short-term memory loss or memory issues. So, and another key big one is muscle cramps. Just about all of us get muscle cramps, and that should trigger, everyone should know that I'm dehydrated. Go drink some water. So that being said, we're all probably dehydrated right now. Most people are not consuming enough water, and many studies show that 80% of the people don't drink enough water. And so you might be saying, well, I'm not thirsty, I'm okay. But by the time you're thirsty, it means you're already dehydrated. So let's all grab some water. Everybody got their bottle? Get your bottle. Let's all take a drink. Thanks, I needed that, all that talking. So I'm going to run through. The next question should be probably thinking people, well, how much water do I need to drink every day? Well, here's a little thing to register. If you weigh 200 pounds, then you need to drink half your body weight in ounces a day, which is about 100 ounces. However, that's just to stay hydrated. If you want to move toxins out of your body, then you need to drink more. And that's a lot of water. And you know what? We're not going to beat ourselves up. We do what we can do. And we got goals to work towards. And so just do what you can do and just keep trying to add more.
I usually encourage my clients to try to get up to a gallon a day, unless they weigh under 100 pounds, and then we keep it at that.
Exactly.
But as a cautionary note, always make sure that you're working with your healthcare provider, because if you are struggling with some kidney disorders or things like that, you want to make sure that you're not putting large amounts of water in your body that could have adverse effects on you. You want to always add
that's very
healthy effects.
Exactly.
But I don't think that that's really an issue, Revonda, because most people struggle with getting in, 5 cups of water.
Exactly. But a goal is just to think a gallon a day. That's basically would be what each of us need. So, but a lot of people don't realize that dehydration impacts their energy. If you got low energy,
absolutely,
our brains are made of 70% water. And when you don't drink enough water, then you may notice you're thinking slowly, you may be tired. And that's because dehydration slows down our circulation, meaning there's less oxygen, just like you had mentioned, Dr. Debbie, and you're less oxygen going to the brain. So then also to other parts of your body. So just 5% drop in your body fluids can make your energy levels drop as much as 30%. So that's a huge blow to your productivity, your concentration, and your overall health. And your next thing people don't realize is dehydration impacts your emotions and mood. Even being the tiniest bit underhydrated can affect your mood. When you haven't been drinking enough water, your body starts to trigger different areas of the brain that makes you feel more anxious or nervous. And you can even that'll heighten your emotions. Staying hydrated can prevent the intensity of these enhanced feelings. So it also affects back to focus. You know, it's frustrating feeling that you can't seem to get your brain to stay focused, even on a good day. It can be a struggle to get your brain to focus. And you can imagine how much harder it is when you're having a bad day. You know, if you're dehydrated, the ability to focus on one task almost completely vanishes. And just by drinking water, you can easily focus on the things that you need to in order to get through the day. Now, I do have some notes I'm going by. Miss Debbie and I were talking about that. It's okay to have notes, keep us on track. I just got a couple of more points, and then I'll let you guys share some tips. Dehydration can very much so impact our overall happiness. The way our brain operates, it's at the cellular level. So there's serotonin, or it's called the happy chemical, which is a neurotransmitter that leads to your feelings of well-being and happiness. So when your body doesn't have enough water, the chemical process in your brain can't run smoothly, and there's a decrease in your serotonin production. So what we've learned today, dehydration affects your energy, your mood, your focus, and your happiness. So the most important and easiest thing you can do for your overall health is just to drink more water. Can we all do that? Is that something everyone can do in the new year? Oh my gosh.
Absolutely.
Drink more water. However, please remember that not all water is equal. But that is another topic for another day. So,
and I promise you that if you want more information about that, Revonda would be happy to tell you about it. If you
want more information, reach out to me, DM me, call me, text me. But listen, your brain is mostly water, but not just the brain, the whole body. So no wonder your body and your brain works better when you're properly hydrated. Okay.
And I think that's a wonderful, wonderful point, because when we are going through the holiday season and with shopping and traveling and being around people, we forget to drink water. And our mood, then all of a sudden we're feeling fatigued. And we talked earlier about cortisol, and shame on me, because cortisol is not from food. Cortisol is a stress hormone that the body produces to help us deal with stress. And when our stress levels are way high and those cortisol levels get real high, then it lays it down. So I wanted to correct that right away. It's like, wake up.
Dr. Debbie, that can affect your adrenals too, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, because our adrenals are, they produce hormone, fight or flight. So they can get stressed out. But, going back and wrapping up, we have all these wonderful tips, but probably staying hydrated should be at the top of the list, because as we run around in our day-to-day, oftentimes we forget. And if you're not in the habit of traveling with water in your car when you're about, it's something to think about. And keep track of your water. There are several little free apps that you can put on your phone. One that I've used is called Waterlogged, and you can put it on your phone. It's free, and keep track of the water you drink, because I promise you, we don't drink as much water as we think we drink. And so it's good. So Christine, Bibi, do you have any tips that you'd like to share with us on getting through the holiday without too much stress?
What's your secrets?
Yeah, so actually it's funny that you bring up water, because that is kind of like my go-to when I'm feeling out of sorts, to do drink water. And when I tried to start drinking water, it was a decision. I had to decide. So what I did was I got a container that I knew how much was in it. So then I didn't have to count my glasses or my cups.
Yes.
I just knew that I needed to drink 2 of these. I was using, initially I was using a ball jar, just like I think it was a 2-quart, and it was, because then it was nice and cold. It looked nice, I was like, and then I would refill whatever I was drinking out of. So that really helped me to be able to track it. I knew I needed to drink 2 of those, that was my goal. And then if I didn't, it was easy to see where I lacked.
Yes.
So
that's great.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Dr. Debbie helped me, reminded me of that with the water too. And what I've been doing is putting like a 4-ounce container. And I like to use sour cranberry juice, so unsweetened, because it tastes really good. So I can just jug it down when I use that. And then I measure it, you know. And yeah, it's important. And you're right, we often forget about that. Mm-hmm. Another thing that I think is really important is, I don't know if you mentioned this, I apologize, I was late. But exercise is something that's amazing for the brain and stress, and also making sure your gut is healthy, you know, because then you produce serotonin in your gut way more than in your brain. Mm-hmm. So getting your gut healthy is another thing that I emphasize too.
Absolutely. Look at all the topics we get to talk about as we go.
Yeah.
Talking about gut health and more on elimination and hydration and nutrition.
I can't wait to learn more with you girls.
A lot to talk about. Well, ladies, we are coming to the end of our time together. I'm so glad I got to see you guys before we head off to celebrate with our friends and families this Christmas. So as a reminder to our listening audience, do join us the 2nd and 4th Thursday of every month, 1 o'clock Eastern time, 12 o'clock Central time. And we do have a group, and it is called Wellness Extraordinaire. You can find us on Facebook, and you can reach out to us if you would like to join the group. When you come to our lives, and pretty soon, we're hoping next year that we will also be Zooming live into Facebook. We're working on that. And the one thing that we changed as we end this year is that when you register to come to our lives, you only have to register once, and then you are allowed to come in anytime that your time allows. So if you have questions, feel free to send us questions before we go live, and we will make best efforts to answer your questions, because our goal, our collective goal, is for all of us to be well, extraordinarily well. So with that, ladies.
Thank you. It was wonderful to see everybody's face and to connect, and Merry Christmas to you all.
Merry Christmas.
You as well.
Yes.
All right. Well, until next year.
All right.
Yeah. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Okay, I stopped recording, but we're still